The Houston Texans won the AFC South for the second consecutive season, but they have been aggressive this offseason, completely trying to revamp this offensive line. They traded left tackle Laramie Tunsil in one of the most puzzling moves of the entire offseason that still doesn't quite make much sense. They cut Shaq Mason, they traded Kenyon Green for CJ Gardner-Johnson, and this is a team that is really looking to protect their franchise quarterback in CJ Stroud. They still seem to be the clear top dog in this division, but if they don't improve this offensive line quickly, things could get rough in Houston. What moves can Nick Caserio make to try and solve this roster issue? That's what we're going to be doing as we are doing a Houston Texans 7-round mock draft. I'm excited for this one. I think there are some very clear-cut fits for this team, and I'm excited to explore some new ideas. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, let me know what you guys would do if you guys were a Houston Texans fan. And without further ado, let's kick this off for the Houston Texans. So before we even get into this draft, I am going to have the Houston Texans trade up in this class. I think they have to position themselves to get one of the top tackles on the board, and I don't think he's going to fall to them at 25. Whether it's a Will Campbell, Armand Mimbu, or Kelvin Banks, I think those are the clear top three guys, and they need to position themselves for it. And I think Atlanta is a prime suitor. They have 5 picks in this draft, and I'm going to be trading them pick 25, the third rounder that we got for the Laramie Tunsil trade, and 236. We're going to swap 7s. We're going to move up to 218, and we're going to give them a future third round pick as well. So we're making a big move to kick this off, but I think it is a needed one to try and protect our star quarterback in CJ Stroud. I'm going to move up at the Atlanta Falcons 10 spots. So we're on the clock here at pick 15, and exactly what I wanted to happen happened. Kelvin Banks is on the board for us here at 15, and I think this is a home run pick. There's a lot of negativity surrounding Kelvin Banks, and I'm not exactly sure why, because he had a phenomenal season this past year for Texas. He's my number 4 tackle in the draft class, played over 900 snaps last year for Texas, 89.8 pass blocking grade, allowed just 10 pressures and 1 sack on the season. He's a guy that I think is a plug-and-play starting left tackle for you right away. He's a really good athlete for the position, showed incredible athleticism to be able to move into the second level. He's been a huge part of the Texas run game. We know how well the Texas has been able to run the football over the last couple of years. Kelvin Banks is a big part of the reason why. He is an absolute people mover. He's got phenomenal athleticism for the position as well. And he's very technically sound all around. You'd like to see his pad level improve. He does tend to lunge from time to time, but I think this is a guy that can start for you at tackle, or you could swing him inside to play guard for you, and I think he's going to do so at a high level. I don't think you can go into the season with Titus Howard as your starting left tackle and feel good about it. Howard has had his inconsistencies throughout his career. I think you're asking a lot from rookie Blake Fisher. You have to go out and get a tackle early in this draft. And I think Kelvin Banks is one of the best ones in the class. So I think he is 100% worth moving up in this draft to get, because you look at some of the teams that could need a tackle here. Arizona could take him. Cincinnati could take him. Seattle could take him. You could see a team like Atlanta, I guess. But I think you have to position yourself to go get that guy. And if Kelvin Banks is on the board here, I think I would spread the card in if I was the Houston Texans. All right, we're on the clock here at 58, and there are a lot of players that I'm considering taking here, but Jacksonville called and wanted to move up, so I'm going to make this deal with Jacksonville. We're trading back 12 spots, but we're trading up basically 134 spots, turning a 7th rounder into a 4th. So we're going to move pick 58 and 241 in exchange for 70 and 107. Just more impactful draft capital that I think will help us. So I'm going to make this move. I think this is a no-brainer. We're not moving ourselves too far back to where we can't get the guys that we want, and I love this trade, so I'm going to make this one with Jacksonville. So on the clock here at pick 70, I think going out and improving the interior of this defensive line is a move that I think they're going to look to make. They brought back Sheldon Rankins, which I think is a fine move, but I think you can elevate the floor of the interior of this defensive line, and TJ Sanders is on the board here. I can't think of a more DeMeco Ryans defensive tackle in this draft class. He values those smaller interior guys. That's just the way that his defense operates. TJ Sanders is 6'3", 284 pounds, but he is a guy that I wouldn't be shocked if he found his way into the first round. Really, really impressive athlete, fluid run defender, has crackdown speed to chase down runners as well. He knows how to penetrate in between blocks, get skinny in the run game, has the ideal length for the position at nearly 34-inch arms. He does need to improve his polish as a pass rusher. He is more of a run specialist right now. And with that being said, he had a 12.6% pass rush win rate this past year. I love this guy. I've taken him probably more than any other player in this series because there are so many teams that I think he could be a plug-and-play defensive tackle for you. I think that's what they need. Whether he comes in and starts right away or whether he takes a year or so to develop, I think TJ Sanders is worth the investment here, and he fits the defense perfectly. Now you've got an interior of TJ Sanders and Sheldon Rankins or whoever else you want to play in there. I think it just elevates the floor of that defensive line a little bit more. So this is going to be an easy pick for me. I'm going to take TJ Sanders here at number 70. We're going to keep moving around the draft board because I think this is a good strategy to have. Just keep improving draft capital where we can. And Green Bay is willing to move up 8 spots and give us their 4th rounder, so I'm going to make this happen. We're going to trade 79 and 166 to Green Bay for 87 and 124, moving up about 44 spots from the 5th to the 4th round. Another deal where I think it's a low-risk, high-reward sort of move, and we get more impactful draft capital that I think can help us a little bit more. So our 3rd trade of the video, I'm going to make this deal with Green Bay. On the clock here at 87, I know a lot of people are probably screaming, receiver, receiver. I have a plan for receiver that I'm going to operate at 107, maybe 124. But Tate Ratledge is still on the board here. Easy pick for me if I am the Houston Texans. The guard spots have been, well, let's just say it. It's been a disaster for Houston over the last couple of seasons. And Tate Ratledge is one of my favorite players in the class. And he had a very good combine where he was one of the best players on the offensive line. Ran a 4.97, 32-inch vertical, 7.38 3-cone. He didn't play much this season, just 500 snaps, but in those snaps was very impactful. Allowed just 7 pressures this past season, 1 sack. He's an older, more experienced player, but he is a absolute tank. He is a very good mover on the offensive line. And he just plays with that hard-nosed, I'm going to hit you mentality that I just love to see from players on the interior. There were so many instances on tape where he's just pancaking dudes and bulldozing them into the ground. I love that. Very strong hands for the position, quickness to climb in the run game. Does need to improve at his run blocking angles. He does tend to overextend in the run game at times. And I think balance can be an area he can look to improve, but he is one of my favorite guard prospects in the class. I have him as my number 5 interior offensive lineman in the draft. And if he's on the board here at 87, I think you have to take him. I think this is the 3rd no-brainer. Houston just continues to beef up the trenches. We're going to address wide receiver in this draft, don't worry. But with the way the board has fallen, I can't not take Tate Ratledge here at 87. I promise this is going to be the last trade of the video, but Miami came calling. They're willing to give up 116 and 155 to come get 107. Just going to add another draft pick somewhere in the 5th, 6th round. I think there are a couple of more moves I'd like to make. Adding an extra pick in the mid rounds I think could be important. So I'm going to make this deal. I promise that's the last trade of the video. Here at pick 116, this is where I'm going to go receiver. I mentioned I had a player in mind the entire time. And that's going to be Kyle Williams out of Washington State. Now, don't pay attention to where he's listed. This is a guy that is generating a lot of buzz over the last couple of weeks. I think Chris Sims had him as his wide receiver too. He's a very, very good wide receiver prospect. I have moved him up significantly. He's my number 11 receiver in the class. 4.4 flat speed. One of the best separators off the line of scrimmage in the class. His first step quickness, really, really impressive. He just explodes off the line, and he's a very good weapon. He knows how to run routes, separate across the middle. This is a guy that had almost 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns this past season for Wazoo. Started his career at UNLV. He's played the last 2 seasons at Washington State. Quick, shifty route runner with great burst off the line of scrimmage, elite release package, and he's very good after the catch. He's not a great contested catch guy. He is a little undersized. He's 5'10", 182. But with the uncertainty of the future of Tank Dell's career, with the uncertainty if Christian Kirk is going to be able to stay healthy, I think Kyle Williams gives you some really nice potential. I think he can play on the boundary for you, probably going to be a good slot. I think he's a little bit of a versatile piece where you can put him anywhere on this offense. He's going to get open. He's going to create separation. And that's the type of player this team needs. You've got to get more weapons. Nico Collins hasn't been able to stay healthy consistently throughout his career. You haven't really gotten a lot from Tank Dell because he hasn't been able to stay healthy. I'm going to take Kyle Williams here. I think he's got a really high ceiling and is a guy that would be a really good pickup for them here at 116. Here at pick 124, I am going to go running back for the Texans. Joe Mixon had a phenomenal season for them. I'm not trying to get around that point, but they don't really have a succession plan, and he's getting up there in age. Ogunbowale is a fine number 3 back, but I don't love him as a number 2, and I definitely don't think Dameon Pierce is in this team's long-term future. So I'm going to go with a running back here. A lot of great options. You got DJ Giddens. You've got Baishol Tootin. All of these guys are guys that I really like, but I really, really like Damian Martinez, who is going to be my pick here. He is just a guy that I think has phenomenal speed. I mean, a guy who ran in the low 4.5s at almost 230 pounds. He's 5'11", 226. This is a guy that reminds me of a baby Marshawn Lynch. I've said that since the summer. His power profile and his ability to run between tackles is phenomenal and one of the best runners in the draft class. He is going to need to improve on his blocking, his pass catching out of the backfield, because he just simply didn't do it. He only had 17 receptions this past season for 204 yards, but what he can do as a runner, he might be the best pure runner in the entire draft class. And if he had a little bit more as a receiver, we'd be talking about him as a legitimate 2nd or 3rd round prospect. I think he's that good, a player with so much potential to be a good lead back in the future. I really do think that. He's bigger than the other guys. I think he's got really good speed when he does break away. And he's just a really solid player. Maybe not the most explosive guy in the world, only a 1.56 split, but I love his game. I think he's exactly what Houston wants in a running back. I'm going to take Damian Martinez at 124. Here at pick 155, I think linebacker is a position that is kind of a big need for Houston because they just haven't gotten a lot out of this group. Christian Harris has not really taken the step that you wanted him to take. Azeez Al-Shaair was fine. He was kind of a liability for them down the stretch, though, with basically murdering Trevor Lawrence, and then his lack of control. And the Chiefs game was a big reason why they lost that game. So I think going out and getting a linebacker is a really big need for this team. They haven't gotten Christian Harris or Henry To'oTo'o to really take that next leap. Teddy Buchanan is awesome and one of my favorite players in the entire draft class. A guy that I feel like is the most underrated linebacker in the draft. 6'1", 236. He is a strong player, ran a 4.6 at the position, which is a really good time. He does everything for you at the linebacker position. A guy who had 6 sacks this past season, 25 pressures, 3 forced fumbles, 2 pass breakups. I mean, this is a guy that can cover really, really well. He plays with his hair on fire, comes downhill as a blitzer, creates pressure, super physical, gets off blocks really. His block shedding could be better, but he does play physical, and he has the ability to run through guys. His athleticism and change of direction could improve. Missed tackle rate been a little bit high throughout his career this past season. 9.2%, though. You'll live with that at the NFL level. I love everything about his game. I think D'Amico Ryans would as well, and he is a perfect fit for this team. I'm taking Teddy Buchanan at 155. With our final pick here at 218, I am going to go with a corner because I think this team is an injury away from having a desperate need at corner. They have Jalen Petrie in the slot right now, which we'll see how that ends up working out for them. I kind of like that. You obviously have Derek Stingley, elite corner, and Kamari Lasker had a really good rookie season. I think going out and just adding another depth piece, very important. Elijah Huzzie from North Carolina, really interesting sleeper. I have a bit of a higher grade on him than this. I think he could go higher. He does a lot really well. Quick feet, elite change of direction, ball skills are phenomenal. 16 interceptions in his collegiate career. elite man coverage corner. He's just so sticky, moves really well, great footwork, physicality is there. He is shorter. He's 5'9", 194. Play strength, tackling can be up and down as well, but I think he's a great player and a guy in the 7th round that I think is a draftable player that elevates the floor of this defense. And if you have an injury, I think Elijah Huzzie is a guy you would feel very confident can give you some legitimate starting games and you would feel comfortable with. I love what he brings in coverage, a guy that can play man really, really well. He had a man coverage grade this past season of 68.4, 71.3 in zone, a guy who had 5 pass breakups and an interception. I love his game, and at 218, I think will be a steal. So I'm going to take him to round out this draft class. So there we have it, Texans fans. A lot of maneuvering the draft boards, trading up, trading down, but what a freaking haul you guys got in this class. One of the best offensive linemen, an elite defensive tackle, weapons in the running back room and the receiving room, improved the offensive line, added maybe my favorite linebacker in the class, and a really good sleeper corner. I mean, this is a perfect draft, and as a Colts fan, I would be absolutely sick if this happened. This is an unbelievable haul, but I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think down in the comment section below? Do you like this draft? Do you not? Love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.